know where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns post-game reaction show. I'm Marcus Dash here with my brother Teja Dash, and of course, legendary tight end Jason Dunn. JD, Teja, great win. It was a win that, we didn't have to sweat it at all after the first quarter. It was pretty much, we just kind of smooth sailed throughout the rest of the game. 41-10 victory over the Bears, who obviously, if anyone's been following what the Bears been going through this week, getting their equipment stolen, Justin Fields making comments about the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator getting fired or resigning. There's a lot of things going on there, so I don't think anyone was shocked by this outcome, maybe the amount we won. But I think the topic, there's a couple topics here. Jawaan Taylor getting pulled again for the whole alignment issue. We'll also talk about that. But what I want to talk about is the defense. I know this is a team for the last several years since the Mahomes show. It's been all offense. But we're talking about a team that's only allowed 3 touchdowns through the first 3 games of the season. Only 1 touchdown since Chris Jones has been on the field. And I don't even think he was on the field when they scored that garbage touchdown at the end of the game. But what do you guys got? What do you say about this defense? I know we talk about the best defense in Mahomes era, but do you guys think this is the best defense that we've had in the Andy Reid era, or even going back, even when you guys were playing, JD, even before this, like the Derek Thomas time? I mean, is this one of the best defenses the Chiefs have had in the last 30 years?
The last 30 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's, man. I tell you what, man. It's still early. This is 3 games, and you're talking about what they're able to achieve. Got an interception right this week. We was looking for doing some things differently, but I told you it's going to take the little things, and so I think a lot of it has to depend on the pieces that you have out there. Definitely Chris Jones being one, but also to the secondary, man. These guys are they're ball hawks. They play stingy. They love going and challenging receivers. And Spags is he is just calling a phenomenal game. He really is. So when you look at some of the scheme what they're doing, they're bringing some pressure. They're bringing guys from places that they're not really expecting guys to come from. That's what I love about Spags, because he mixes it up. But he's going to play to the strength of what he has out there as far as piece-wise, right, and personnel. And like I said, he's doing a phenomenal job of that. So the last 30 years, I mean, we can start making this argument. I think it's still kind of early, but I love everything that they've been doing out here. No doubt about it. So we have to think about, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Chicago Bears. Okay, we knew it was going to be a very dominant performance today. We just knew that. And so this was not a shocker. This is not a surprise whatsoever. But I remember they brought up the youth of this entire defense. And I'm like, man, these guys, if they continue to just keep this whole thing together, man, we're going to be talking about them for a long time. So,
Teja, I know you started watching the Chiefs around that 30-year marker I'm talking about, way back.
Yeah, that's why I was like, whoa, hold on there a second. The Derek Thomas years, I don't know about that. Our defense was our Mahomes back then, so it's a little different. It was a collective Mahomes. It was like the Captain Planet group, coming together to make Mahomes. I was also looking in recent time, even last 10 years. I like the mid the two teens. The Sean Smith, Justin Houston, 22 sack season. Those are some good defenses we had. They were high up there in turnovers. We had a stacked defense back then. But dude, it's playing so well right now, and it's playing well despite missing players too, which is awesome. They're so deep. I think they touched upon that in the game, actually. They're so deep, so when guys are missing, other guys are stepping up that are comparable. They're all bought in. They're all on the same page. And it's incredible to see that out of such young team, such young defense. So sky's the limit, man. It's so exciting to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's seeing Chris Jones just kind of wreak havoc. I mean, I think he's on pace for I think someone said during the game he's on pace for like 28 plus sacks this year. Obviously, he's probably not going to get that 28 plus sacks, but he's already on pace. And this is a guy who missed game 1 of the season. Just him coming in and just wreaking havoc the way he has over the last 2 weeks just shows you what his worth is. And I don't know if a guy, talk about prove it deals. If a guy's proving it is Chris Jones. And I don't think he really has much to prove anyway. But that's a guy who is proving it on this 1-year trial run he has with Kansas City before he hits the market next year.
Yeah, I don't think it's a prove it deal. I don't think it at all. I mean, we've known he's been one of the best defensive players in the NFL. So what does he have to prove, right? Yeah. It's not a case of him proving himself. It's just a case of the Chiefs paying him the money, right? And that's really what it is. It's what it boils down to. And so that's what this whole holdout and all this was about. It wasn't like, hey, well, Chris Jones, you may be one of the best, right? So in negotiations, it's always, people was giving him 30. He ain't even 30 yet. They, oh, man, he's 30. He's almost going to be 31. You're giving him 2 years now all of a sudden? So now you're saying he's too old to do anything. And this guy's he's out there just absolutely wreaking havoc. So it wasn't necessarily, it's not a prove it deal whatsoever. He's one of the best in the NFL, man, and it just shows. It keeps showing. And I think to be honest with you, I think this whole holdout and then dealing with this whole situation with him it probably gave him a little bit more fuel. It really did, to be honest with you. Because now it's like, you know what? Okay, I thought I had this promise in the bag with these guys. Okay, come back and sign this 1-year deal. I could be let go next season. I'm looking at, maybe getting another payday from maybe particularly somebody else if the Chiefs aren't willing to do it. So I think that's just one of the things, just showing people. Like he said, he keeps receipts. He keeps them, right? Because you've seen all the people that was just kind of talking about it, man. But Chris Jones he's a monster. He's a monster out there. But
I think if I were to equate it to any kind of prove it, it would be the whole argument apparently was between Aaron Donald money or the next tier of D tackles. It's probably he's proving I'm closer to Aaron Donald than I am that other tier of tackles that just got paid. I want closer to that and that scale. You might want to go dead in center, but let's lean this way on that,
Right. Yeah. I don't know, and Teja, I'm not even sure, I know I think he was trying to average 27 a year. That's what he was trying to do, right? He wanted the brand new deal. And he didn't want to play for $20 million this year or 19, whatever it is now for what, all the fines and whatnot. But I think he was looking more for the 27 a year, right? You can keep going back to this and that. But I think it's just more so anything else that he's just going out, like you're saying, he's just proving the point. I got to keep proving who I am. I mean, we've been to 3 Super Bowls with me out here. 1, 2. I've been up as one of the defensive players of the year. Okay, I've been dominating since the past couple of years. I'm one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. But the thing is, his presence also, too, I think, gives guys around him a lot of energy as well. I mean, when we talk about infectious, your attitude, how you approach the game, that's what he gives. That right there is currency in itself that teams need. And so it's the same thing with Travis Kelce on the other side I was talking about. Same thing with these young receivers. When he goes out there and he's balling out of control right in front of Taylor Swift, they just said it 1,000 times today.
Oh, man.
Geez. I was like, okay. I'm like, if they show Taylor Swift one more time, okay, she's at the game. All right?
Dude, she popped up on my playlist.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. She didn't.
Pretty good. But But that's what it's all about. Like you get these young guys together. You got a young defense. You got a veteran like Chris Jones. You got a young wide receiver core. You got a veteran like Travis Kelce. And so these guys are absolutely vital and imperative for the success of a team, especially if you're looking at the older guys. You know, like, hey, you know, we're getting older. Who's going to be the next guys? You know, going to start making the plays, right?
Yeah.
That's baton off to.
Yeah, and Mike Dana has played his ass off this year, and that's the thing. We're defensively all over the place. We're getting like contributions from everybody. Malik Herring's getting some great reps. King Felix has looked fantastic. And Mike Dana has looked playing DT, playing end. He had that one rush where he's got right in Fields' face right away. Just freaking, I think it was the center that he just kind of mashed up there. But like. And this is without Charles Mann, who are one of our main offseason additions, one of the guys who paid the most money to. He hasn't even played yet. We're going to see him in a couple of weeks here, but like this is all without one of our main defensive additions this offseason. So like we're just getting contributions from everybody. And, you know, you got to give Spags his due. I mean, Spags has really coached his ass off this season so far.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Like I said, I love Spags anyway, man. He's just a great dude. You know, I went against it when he was New York and all those things. You'd have conversation, kind of talking to him. But man, Spags, man, he understands all the nice toys and machines he has in that room, and he knows he can mold them. And I said this before: when you got young guys, they only know what they know, and so you got young defensive ends, you got young corners, safeties, you know, linebackers. So to him, he can work it out like a mad scientist to get these guys doing what I want them to do. Okay. Sometimes when we get an older vet coming from different places, you know, maybe their philosophy is trying to, you know, teach an old dog new tricks. Well, the old dog there is who's he's had, right? Chris Jones. So it's like this. Hey, this is my product right here. Okay. And so that's to me, man. Spags, without a doubt, like I said, has been called on a brilliant game. He definitely, you know, is about giving his due. We got to give him his flowers, man. Spags doing a tremendous job of calling games right now.
For sure.
I love your comparison to Kelce and Jones on offense and defense too, because you have the elite player who's the rock on that side of the ball, and then you have good depth everywhere, and we just need a couple of guys to step up in moments to kind of have the whole level of a play rise, right? So like if Kelce has his standard 7 for 80 and a touchdown, we just need 2 of Rice or Moore or even Watson or McKinnon or hopefully Ross at some point. MVS to step up and have good games. Same thing on defense. Chris Jones brings his sack a game. Someone else, 2 of our other guys need to step up and have like a sack or a big play, and it's such an added bonus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So talking obviously 41-10 offense played pretty well this game. My question is, so we're going to get into Jawaan Taylor, but just for starters, do you think is our offense back, JD, or is this game just a product of Chicago just not being on our level at all? And then sometimes when you're playing a mismatch of an opponent, you can just kind of steamroll these guys, even if you aren't clicking. And do you see the offense clicking? Are we back to our normal self or not yet?
I wouldn't say back, man. You still building. You got young guys that you're still building on. And so this is because you got new guys, new pieces in there. You still have to say, hey, look, what can these guys do? It was great to see Justin Ross and Rashid Rice out there, and Rashid Rice going out there and making plays. And so it's the same thing. Like, yeah, we got, the one, continuity with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, but we got new guys around here that we still don't know what they can possibly do. And so you're building it up. I wouldn't say we're back. We're still building. And you keep building to get something better than what you had before, right? Pacheco's got another year under his belt. He's still running hard. He's got little injuries. Same thing with, trying to find out where MVS is. He showed up today, right? Catching some footballs. Justin Watson came in and, made a contribution. And so that's the thing about it, man. You always want to get better. You always want to, try to improve on what you're doing, right? And so when you say you're back, like you said, yeah, part of it is, it's the Bears defense who are floundering and trying to find their way, right? When you're talking about a really imploded, team and organization. I mean, we found them today. So it's hard, man. It's tough. I'm serious. I mean, we talking about raids and all the, it's coming out and, we got stuff stolen. And who wants to play in something like that? Really? Seriously. I mean, it's a circus. It's an absolute circus.
Teja, are we back? Or are you with JD on this one?
It was already a really good week to play the Bears because they just haven't looked good at all on the field. Getting up 27 to the Bucs, Baker throwing for 300 yards for the first time in like 2 years. Their offense going through an identity crisis. We just needed a really good get-right game because, I mean, even though we beat the Jags and a W's back in the win column, everything didn't feel right after that game. Like, we still didn't look like the team that we should be. So we needed them to come on and beat a really bad team badly, right? Yeah. If you want to be one of the best teams, you have to beat the worst of the rest, don't you? You have to take care of business, man. Especially coming back after a Jags or Lions loss at Arrowhead to start. So we need to go out there and beat that team like that. I don't think we're back by any means, but it's good to see us beat a bad team badly. I'll say that, because if we didn't, I think you and I talked about this recently, Marcus, if we kind of struggled out there, it would, even if we won, if we had like a dirty 20-17, 20-16 type win, that would not be good on so many levels. That would be really scary because this team didn't look ready to play like a football game. I mean, they just didn't look prepared, and they're dealing with a lot on all ends. So I don't blame them, but at the same time, we still have to come out and do what we can do against an inferior opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost see it on their faces. Like the entire time, it's like they're just trying to deal, right? It's just like we're just trying to deal with this thing, and so it's like, hey man, what do you expect? Well, shoot, we're gonna try to come out here and give one for the old, for the Gipper, But,
that's week 3 too, JD. Week 3, it's already happening. They're already going out there with what you just said on their faces.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh man.
Yeah, it's rough. I feel for the Chicago Bears fans. They deserve better. But talking about sticking with the offense, last week we talked about running the ball, kind of getting into this kind of rhythm, getting our guys going, and finally it looked like we committed to the run. For the very first time in a really long time, he committed to the run. I think this is one of the most amount of carries Pacheco's had in his career, 15 carries. CH also got 15 carries. Yes, it was because, he was playing the garbage time in the last quarter with Gabbert, but still 15 carries for him, 15 carries for Pacheco, a couple carries for McKinnon, a couple catches for McKinnon, touchdown catches. So we're getting him the ball back. What did you think about the way we kind of used our running backs today, JD? It felt like we actually had somewhat of a pattern and a rhythm to use all three guys and use them in their own special way. And that's something that we haven't done, and we haven't really found that yet. And it seems like today we kind of found the spot for that.
Yeah, I think going into the game, that was one of the things they wanted to emphasize. They didn't want to ignore that part of that phase of the offense, right? Because they understand, and I've said this before, look, we got very brilliant guys, very smart coaches. And so they're understanding, look, we got young wide receivers. Let's get Pacheco them going, okay, to keep everybody honest so we can get the balls in the zones and whatnot against this defense. And that's exactly what they did. When they handed it off, I'm like, hey, what? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm talking about. And I love it. I love it that they was just kind of, maybe they listen to us, Marcus. Maybe that's what they're doing, huh?
I think so.
Check out some of this, the Chiefs' concerns and saying, you know what, Marcus and Jason been talking about running the football, man. Let's listen to these guys. Okay, you know what they're talking about. So, no, it was good to see. It really was. We understand, man, that our running backs bring an element to the game that we need, especially when you have this youth that you're having to deal with from the wide receiver core, and of course, them having such a rocky start, and them trying to get better. So, in this part of getting better, let's rely on the guys that we know can do the job, right? Who can carry the load. Tight ends and running backs, okay? Pacheco, McKinnon, right? CH come in. Let's lean on them a little bit. And so everything opens up for everybody, right? Everybody gets the glory. Everybody gets a little shine. And so that's the way it should work. That's how offenses are really are kind of put together, because it's a team sport. You want guys, everybody to kind of come in and eat. But it is a rhythm. It is, trying to get into this whole pulse of things, right? That's what you want to be able to do.
Teja, what are your thoughts?
You were probably there thinking a second quarter carry. Oh my gosh! Wow! I can't believe it.
It's unreal. Oh
my gosh! A carry after the first drive. Wow! You're spoiling us over here, man. I just did some digging. Yeah, it wasn't his highest carries in the game, but it's close. I think it's like third or fourth. He had 22 last season, 16, and then 15. But speaking of carries, though, we're 16-2 when Pacheco gets 8 or more carries in the last 2 years. He just picks up tough yards. It's not flashy. I mean, he's just chugging along, high kneeing in practice almost. And you're just like the guy who's getting a ton of effort in practice. Like, we need to get him more work. He tries so damn hard. It's just, he gets 5 yards of carry, picks it up, but defense has to account for him because he will take. I mean, like he doesn't stop, so you can't go like half-ass effort against him. And when he's effective and you give him the ball, you get second and third and shorts, which Pat eats up, even either on the ground, taking what he can get, or takes a deep shot because he can, because it's going to be 3rd and 5 and 3rd and manageable. I think that's the best formula. I think it's Pacheco eating up the bulk of the carries, McKinnon eating up the receiving work, and CEH filling in the gaps in a very mediocre way.
Come on.
Come on, man. Even in garbage time, 15, he averaged like 3.7 a carry in garbage time. Like,
some could argue without CEH's key catch last week in that Jacksonville game coming out of the second half, we don't win that game. We don't even score on that drive without CEH giving us some juice. Right. I know, and here's the thing. I know he hasn't lived up to his expectations being a first-round pick, but CEH has had time where he has shined in his limited career. He's been limited by injuries. We also we talk about this all the time. Running backs need somewhat of a rhythm, and how inconsistent these guys get carries. How can anyone be the guy? And we don't even, we haven't consistently used him out of the backfield in his career, in his short career so far. And that was one of the big things he was good for in college. We haven't really used them.
Look,
can't believe you're defending CH to me right now, of all people.
Well, look, I'll do you one better. The thing is, it also helps out our offensive linemen. And so if our offensive linemen are used to catching guys, not coming off the football and actually just mauling guys, then that's something they got to get used to. They got to get tougher. And it's crazy because we were driving back from my grandson's game. He had a flag football game. And so we kind of watched the game, listening to it. My wife asked me, it's like, what is he talking about? I said, he's talking about a passing team becomes a little soft. That's what he means. And that's true. They become soft up front. And guys that are blocking big boys up front like to hit things. They don't like to catch things. They like to hit. They want to be the hitter, not, that's what they want to do. They want to hit people. They want to just maul guys. And, hey, if you're not doing that, you're not used to it, then those yards are going to be a little bit more tougher, okay, because guys are not getting in their cleats coming off the football. But when you have a running team, you can see how the tough yards kind of go, and it kind of plays into it. That's just the reality of it. It is. But that's why I want us to get a little bit more, kind of in that running game. Get into that vein a little bit more, right? Practice a little more with that running ball. So it breeds toughness. It does. You can't help it. You just can't help it. And that's why we've always had a problem with this whole 3rd and short, 4th and 1. It's like, why are we having a problem with this? Well, we're not doing a lot of it. Okay, we're just not. And so there's got to be some. I don't eating some raw red meat, whatever it needs to do. Just just letting everything just lay down and just coming off the football, hit people in the mouth. Okay, sometimes that's necessary. So I love the tough yards, Teja. I love it. I can see it.
It's great.
Yeah. Hey, CH, if you're getting 3 and 4, hey, go ahead, get your 3 in. Get the 3 or 4. All right. I'd love to see a little self squirt out. The power every once in a while. That's all right. That's all right.
I just have a feeling that if CEH wasn't a top pick, 1st-round pick, if he was like a guy, 5th rounder, most of us would be saying like he needed to go a long time ago, right? I mean, that 1st round badge he wears definitely helps him in a lot of regard.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the guy's got talent. He's shown
flashes.
Yeah, I mean, first pick for a reason, and I think, like I said before, he maybe in a different offense, he might be very, highly successful. We just don't know. He just happens to be in this offense where, we're going to be passing the football, and that's going to be our thing.
I think his role with his skill set's pretty good for us because we have the masher in Pacheco, and we have like the really good receiving threat out of the backfield and Jet. And then we need a guy who can kind of float and do a little of both, right? And I think CEH, he does fit into that mold for his playing style.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying more so like where you are getting 15 to 20 carries a game.
Oh, yeah, opportunity.
I'm talking about a guy, absolutely. I'm talking about maybe in an offense where you're dealing with somebody who does get their rhythm, right? As opposed to like maybe getting 4 or 5 yards of carry and you're still, like, man, stay warm. And he's like, shit, okay, I'll stay warm. How about y'all hand the ball off to me, right? I know how running backs feel, man. I know them jokers. I know how they feel. They want the ball too, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me LJ wanted even more when he was getting 30 carries a game?
30 carries. He wanted 40. Give me 40. Especially if he's just running through folks. Yeah. Keep getting the ball. Keep giving the football. So.
Yeah, especially, and I think also too with the way Pacheco does run, how physical of a runner he is. 15 carries with the way he runs, and he's always hammering dudes. You do need a guy who can spell him to get 8 to 10 touches if we want to continue this balanced attack, so teams aren't just kind of focusing in on the pass.
That's right.
Yeah. So talking about you talk about linemen wanting to be able to hit people and stuff. Well, Jawaan Taylor, one guy who anticipating that a little too much. I don't think the anticipation is not really what he's getting flagged for. It's the alignment, and something we talked about a couple weeks back after the week one where everyone's making such a big deal about his alignment. Something that the guy never really got called for before he came to Kansas City, but now he's in the spotlight wearing red. He's got a target on his back from the officiating. Do you think the calls are fair, JD? I know a couple weeks back you said, he's moving early, and he's not getting flagged for the false start. It's the alignment. What do you think about is his alignment that bad? Greg Olsen even called it out when he threw that touchdown at MVS. He was like, whoa. He's like, I don't even think it was bad here. I think he was fine. I think he was lined up properly here.
I know, but he's looking from you can't hardly see it. You can't see their vantage point from the sideline judge. The rules are the rules, right? And I'm sure, like you said, he's been told this several times. Hey, look, work on your alignment, get your alignment right. So I don't know if that was like taking him out was like one of those like, hey, look, you're gonna sit here for a second. Like, this is ridiculous. We don't have to keep telling you this. And I don't want to make it like it's controversial. Like he might be like, yo, coach, like I'm, shoot. He's like, you know what? Fine. You want to listen? We done told you this. Just have a seat for a second here, okay? Because if this is going to happen each and every game, this is what's going to happen with you. We're just going to take you out, all right? So if you don't like sitting over here with me and watching everybody else play, get your mind right, get yourself right, go out there and do what you're supposed to do. So, man, I just he can turn in and look to see where he's at. He can do that for a second and find out. You know what I mean? Like especially the way if he's being told, do the little things to turn in and say, okay, I'm good on this one, right? I'm good. Can he look at the side judge? Because you know how the wide receivers come like, hey, am I good? Can I sit over here? You should do the same thing. Like, hey, can I give you something and let me know? And sometimes they'll let them know, sometimes they won't. So, no, man. This is crazy to me, though, to be honest with you. It's crazy.
How peculiar is it? And I know we're talking about the flags. Look, his pass blocking rate's phenomenal. He's gotten our pass blocking and our win rate's been great from the O-line. So this is not a problem with that. The protection is not a problem, not an issue. But this guy's getting pulled for the second time in the first 3 weeks of the season because of the alignment. And you and I, you're a huge Prince guy. We love Prince. His spot duty last year and last year he's come in and filled in admirably. But what do you think about just how weird is this? A guy who's doing so fine at his actual at blocking and protection and run blocking, but he's getting pulled out of the game because he cannot, for whatever reason, the alignment's just off. It's weird, right?
Okay. I'm going to say this. I think coaches may view it as something as maybe a lack of focus or mental block or whatever it may be. It's almost like having a running back that may fumble. Like he may do everything right, and all of a sudden here comes the fumbles, right? And it's like, oh shoot. Well, what ends up happening is, even you might think of it as insignificant. Coaches may look at it like, man, you're putting our team in jeopardy by doing these penalties. Why we need these needless penalties? You don't have to. It's one thing if you're blocking a guy, you get a holding call. That's different, okay? Because you're trying hard. I'll never get on you for something that you're giving an effort for. But this is lining up. This is lining up. And so that's part of the problem. It's just like, hey, man, we ain't even snapped anything yet. This is just alignment, like simple things, like the foundation. Like it's a simple thing for you to just get out there and just line up. That's different from you doing something while you're in the process of actually, doing your job, right? So I think it's a lot of that. I'm just telling you how coaches think. They really are. And they get pissed off on things like that. Because then they think like you're not focused. You're not focused on what you have to do. They want every aspect of you to be right there, being in the game, be present and everything. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal to a lot of coaches. It really is. It really is. So I just know this because I've seen this before, a lot of it. And I'm not in regard to like just lining it up, but sometimes it's something like that, false start. Like, why do you false start? Like, go get him out of the game. Seen it plenty of times. Coach, get it. Go get it. Go get it. He ain't there. He's not. So, man, I don't like seeing it. I'll tell you that. I don't like the optics of it, to be honest with you. I get that you're trying to get a guy's mind right and focused up, but, when people see you pulling him out and whatnot, then everybody's perceiving there's an issue and a problem right there. They might perceive like it's a bigger issue and a problem there. So I know I'm just me as a former player looking at it, and I'm like, man.
And there was also another thing with that, because, he didn't come back in when Donovan Smith went down for a little bit for an injury for a little bit, but he came back in the game later on. They just moved Prince over to left tackle, and then Jawaan came back into the right tackle. So we don't even know at what point they were going to put him back in the game. Obviously, it was a blowout at that point, but they moved him over. Also, I think it was funny, too, because remember at the beginning of the season, the offseason, Jawaan's going to play left tackle. Donovan Smith gets hurt. Who's the one playing left tackle? Prince is, not Jawaan Taylor. I thought that was a funny nugget there.
Yeah.
Our left tackle of the future.
But what do y'all think? How are y'all looking at this? Really.
Technical talk I'll leave to you, but as far as just it's crazy to me because I'll just say this. I applaud the Chiefs for completely saying, you know what, ignoring the money, ignoring the contract, and just going, a player is extremely struggling at a crucial part of the game. He's a crucial part of his job, right? Like it's I can't even give it like an office or normal man's everyday job a comparison. It's crazy. It's someone who just consistently is not getting the same thing right over and over and over again. And they're just saying, screw it. I don't care what he makes, man. He needs to come off the field. You need to get it corrected. Just think about it. I'm not blaming it on him, but if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't have that penalty on the MBS play, we score, Mahomes doesn't get rolled up on.
Yes.
It's just stupid stuff that can happen in an NFL game if you take too many snaps that are unnecessary. You don't need to. We didn't need to take that snap. It should have been a touchdown. I know Greg Olsen said he couldn't really see it there, but I think what he said afterwards is like they're watching you, big guy. Like it just means like you can't even be close about it right now.
Right.
Don't even like. I know you think you're lined up fine. Like, dude, I've done this a million times. You kidding me? I never get called for that. It doesn't matter right now. You and close calls are not being called the way you want. They're close calls are going to be called away from you right now. It's like a guy who's being targeted in basketball, right? Like he's not. You got to lay off a little bit on defense. The reaching they're going to call you for right now. You have 5 fouls. Don't mess with it right now. Keep your hands up. Make sure go over and beyond. You're not going to get called, dude. When you're getting called for this as much as he is, don't even chance it. Just get. I mean, go an extra step forward if you have to. Even like
that's it. That's all.
It's crazy, man.
That is, man, and that's a great point of it. That's because taking a touchdown off the board. It's like, what if this was a crucial play that we needed?
Yeah.
Okay? Like we need to understand the consequences of what's going on here. The gravity of the situation. Yeah, we're beating them by, X amount of points at this moment. But if it's in a playoff game, to go to the Super Bowl, you need to understand how serious this is. And when I told you, like the little things, it's the little things that take care of the big things. Little things such as this, like, we heard of what's the name of, I can't think of, oh my gosh, the coach for UCLA.
Chip Kelly?
No, from back in the day.
Oh, Jim Moore Jr.?
No, it's up there.
John Wooden?
Wooden, yeah. When he was talking about, hey, when you come in, I'm going to teach you how to tie your shoes. We're not going to go out here and shoot ball, and we're not going to practice. We're going to know the little things. And it was like Bill Walton was like, man, why are we tying our shoes? Why are we doing these different things like that? He said, because these little things right here matter. They matter. And so if you don't have these little things, already sewed up, not doing the right things, then when we need those little things to be perfect, and they're not, it's going to affect the big things. It's going to affect these games. Something's going to happen to you. So we got to get this foundation right. So I think it's right, Teja, like you said. I think it is that foundation of saying, man, look, you took 7 points off the board. Why would you do that? Right? We can't just let this go. We can't just keep talking to you, right? If I keep telling you, but there's no consequences to what you're doing, how are we serving you? We're not servicing you, and we're not servicing the team. So yeah, man, move up with foot. If you need to practice now, I don't care what it is, that you have to, hey, move up 2 feet or a foot, practice that way in your alignment. This is what we're going to do. I tell you what, emphasizing that, if you don't do it, we're going to sit your butt again. How about that? Like you said, I don't care how much money you make it. It doesn't matter to me, right? So,
yeah, better to overcorrect in the situation, at least for now, at least until the spotlight's not on you anymore by the officiating crew and the whole NFL watching you.
They need to assign someone in the staff to just watch them on snaps. So just watch them and be like, more. It's too close. It's too close. Anywhere in this area, no good. Move up.
Mm-hmm. Is that something he could talk to the officiating crew before the game? Like, hey, like, can you tell me if I'm off, or is that like, are those conversations had with the officiating crew? Like, you guys talk to them?
You could tell the coach, like, hey man, can you help me out? He's like, look, I'll let you know, and sometimes I won't. Sometimes it's on you. It's not my job to keep telling you if you're good or not.
Yeah.
But the assistant line coach will let him know. I'm sure he's probably watching him and checking, like, hey man, move up just a little bit. What do you need to do? But the onus is on him. It's not anybody else's job to do that. The onus is on him. Get up there, get lined up, okay, and go kick somebody's tail. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what we're paying you for. So we ain't paying $80 million for you to be outside, in the bad alignment, right? I don't care how you validate it and all they picking on me. Line the daggone thing up right. How about that? Do your job. You hear Coach off. Do your job. Don't worry about everybody else's. Do yours. So he'll get it corrected. I know he will. He'll get it corrected. But
he has 8 of our 18 penalties this season.
Damn.
8?
Yeah, he had 5. I believe he had 5 against Jacksonville. He had 2 today, and then he had 1 against the Lions. Not all the same penalty, but in general, those. I mean,
right. Like I said, effort penalties. I don't really. Hey man, look, you're giving an effort here. Sometimes these things happen as far as holding and whatnot, as long as it's not blatant. But lining up issues, false start issues. That's a problem. That's mental focus. That's focus.
Yeah. Do you think his was it Andy's call to take him out of the game when something like that happens, right, JD? Is that Andy Heck, our O-line coach, saying, "Hey, like let's pull him out, let's get him right," or something like that? Because they said last time they wanted him that when they pulled him out, it was more like, "Hey, like a kind of a reset, and then get your mind right, then go back in there again." And I don't think he had any false starts or anything the last time that they did this.
I'm sure that has been talked about. That they make a move, I'm sure Andy would, sign off on it. I mean, you got to go through Andy on anything before you bring. He wants to know.
Right.
I'm sure if Andy's sitting over here like, hey man, why is he out of the game? Right? Because I'm not ask you to bring him out of the game because you pissed at him. Okay, not lining up. I want him protecting Patrick Mahomes. Okay, that's why we're paying $80 million. Not because you have a personal vendetta, but if it's already been talked about, like, look, man, if he gets out of line, he does this, man, pull him out.
Yeah.
Focus again. So, yeah, that goes from the top on down. There, nothing's being done without any of them knowing. It's just that's how it works. That's it.
And I will say, like, going from the first game of the season to now, he's cut down on the whole getting off the ball a little fast. Yeah, he didn't get called for that. And I was watching the game today. I didn't really see it. It wasn't as blatant as it was maybe that first game. As Lane Johnson always does it. It wasn't as blatant as that. But yeah, I mean, he's fixed that at least. Now he's got to fix this other part, and I think we won't be seeing him pulled out of the game anymore. At least hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
And if he does, it's a good thing. It's in a 34-0 blowout. If he is getting pulled out.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that does it for our post-game show on Chief Concerns. Tomorrow, JD and I will be on at least around 1:00 tomorrow right here on Bleacher Report for our Monday morning tight end show. It's our grade report card, and JD's. I'm sure JD's got some tough grades this week. And if anyone watched last week, this guy's a tough grader. I would not want to be in his class.
Hey, listen, I'm always fair. I always look at it fairly, and I don't mind giving attaboys and pats on the back. Believe me, I don't. So I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, but I'm also gonna call some things out to some things I see. So, like I said, I'll put my coach's hat on and I'll make my grades.
Got to keep them honest.
You have to, right? Because you get to a point they're feeling themselves too much, and it's like, okay, you can't do nothing wrong. Yeah, Coach, that's an A. Like, bull, no, it's not. I'm okay. I'll tell you why this sucked, why this sucked. Okay, because I'm gonna keep this standard here, and that's what championships teams do. They keep a high standard, and that's why you are champions. So that's what I got to do, Marcus.
Hey, I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. You're fair, you're honest, and that's why I love you. But all right, guys. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the Monday morning tight end show. Take it easy, fellas.
Later, guys.
All right,
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.